we got an interesting story between Lucia and I, which you couldn't have made up, really, could you? It's like a bit ridiculous.
I went for a COVID test yesterday because I think I've got COVID, because my mum's got COVID, and I've got the same symptoms as her, so I'm waiting for the results of that. I just booked on, went to Kirby Leisure Centre, and then you go over, they laminate a telephone number, you got to call that number, then it goes to their walkie-talkie, and then they talk you through, and then you have to get your swab, put it in the back of your throat, like right to the back so you're gagging, and then take it out, and then after it's been in the back of your throat, then stick it up your nose, which is minging, and then that's it.
I'm okay. I mean, I'm not being dramatically ill the way people say, but I did know that I was ill because I work like 18 hours a day normally, and for 3 days, all I wanted to do as soon as I got up was I just wanted to lie down. And then I just had a little bit of a tickly cough, and I had sneezes and a really drippy nose, and I get allergies, so, and I just thought, oh, it's hay fever, got bad hay fever. No temperature, just to be on the safe side, because my mum and dad, and because my dad did take that mask off and cough right in my face when he came out the hospital. I'll just check, and you could have knocked me down with a feather when it came back positive. I was just wanting a sort of license to go, you can go back round to your mum and dad's and start helping. And it was like, no, you're not. You've got to continue self-isolating now.
But I've got no sense of smell. My mum called me before and was like, I've got no sense of smell. And I was like, yeah, that's one of the signs, isn't it? And she was like, yeah, but I've only just realised because I was putting bleach out, I couldn't smell it. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, have you got a sense of smell? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Because you don't smell. You don't that smell. You don't know, do you? So I was like, oh, I don't know. And she was like, go and spray some perfume. So I sprayed perfume. Not a whiff. Not a whiff of anything at all. I was just like, whoa. So I literally can't smell anything whatsoever. Like, it's all over me. I can't smell it. It's just weird. Yeah. So I think I've got the lurgy.
So, yeah, it's a shock, really, because we have been incredibly careful. So God knows what can happen if you're not careful.
Bit of dramas going on at the minute.
Yeah.
Yesterday was so surreal. It was Michelle's funeral yesterday. Because of this situation, we couldn't go to the funeral. And although that really does sadden me, I've decided I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to dwell there at the moment. What I need to do is concentrate on those good memories. What I need to do is to remember the friendship. Having to drive all the way there and wait outside, you know. Although the wishes are all there and she knows how much we love her, to not actually be able to go to a funeral. Because we're not blood, you know. No. Absolutely crazy.
I'm with you, Marianne. I lost a friend right at the start of it, and no one was allowed to the funeral apart from the husband, the son, and the daughter. And we were close, and I watched it. They sent a link. Watched it virtual. It was a virtual. Watched it virtually, and it was just heartbreaking. They couldn't even be sat next to each other as a family. We couldn't hug each other, or it was just not. Oh, it was just awful, absolutely awful. And has been for, you know, obviously so many people, but to actually watch it virtually and then like all you want to do is give them a hug, be there for them, and they can't even give each other a hug, or sat separate, and it was awful. So yeah, right, I'm with you there, Marianne. Yeah.
We drove all the way to the Cran, watched the cars go in, and then we obviously had to stay outside. Brian and I just were numb when we had to stop outside, you know, and just sit there. It was like, it was surreal, it just didn't feel real. Then we noticed a friend parked across the street, so we started chatting and talking away. This guy was an anti-fracker. sometimes anti-frackers have in common that they have this ethos of questioning everything. Not all of them I might have, but some of them. And this guy was on that level. He was a question everything type of guy. We were talking about the validity of the virus, what we thought of the lockdown, and you know, people may say, oh, there's conspiracy theorists to say a virus doesn't travel person to person. And of course, bearing in mind, whilst we're saying this, we're actually at the funeral of our friend Michelle, who has legally been registered as dying of the virus. So we're actually torn in our thoughts, you know. We wouldn't say we were truthers, but we're on the truth of verge of looking for the correct answers. And by doing that, it means you've actively got to seek the other side of the argument, or, you know, all sides of the argument, to try and discern what you yourself actually think the truth is and where it lies in accordance with nature and everything else along the way. This is quite surreal. You're standing at a funeral and you're talking amongst yourselves and you think, well, you know a virus exists, but you don't necessarily think that it's existing in the way that it's being projected to at the moment by the government, by the news, by scientists, by people in the street, by everyone you talk to. But you've got to discern for yourself what you actually think. Did I take my son out of school? Yes. Did I want him round other people thinking he might bring the illness home to himself, to me and his dad? Yes, I took him out of school. I didn't want him there. Do I think I can't hug people? I'm torn. I hugged that guy at that funeral yesterday and wholeheartedly believed that I'm not contagious and he's not contagious to me, or the 3-step scenario that we're in. It might be the person you take it home to, etc. But at the same time, would I tell everybody else to go out and circulate? No. I've got to do what I think is right for me, and you've got to do what you think is right for you. But at the same time, the law is telling us Michelle has died from COVID. I'm torn. I'm torn on the implications of medical trials. I'm torn on the implications of vaccines. At the same time, our friend has died, and we can't mourn her in the traditional way. And we're stood there at the roadside outside of a crematorium discussing, have they lied to us? Has underhand tactics been used? Or am I blatantly wrong and I have to question why I'm thinking this in the first place? It's like religion, it's like politics. Only you can come to your own ethos and your own way of thought. And at the moment, I'm still torn. I was an anti-fracker protester. I still am. It's just that I'm not actually at site at the moment because there is no fracking at the moment. But we were in Preston New Road in Blackpool, fracking site there by a company called Quadrilla. We protested for 3 years. Discussions were, and my feelings were at the time, that there were paid undercover people pretending to be protesters. There were people who were self-opinionated and put them in positions of authority. Although between ourselves we said everyone was equal and there were no leaders, there's always people who will present themselves as leaders and put themselves in certain positions. You will also find undercovers or people who have been paid to attend certain events for the day. Many stories, many publications will tell you about people that are paid to be at events, paid instigators. You know, we're hearing stories in America yesterday that there's riots, and there was one particular video about a guy smashing windows, and some other protesters actually looked at him and took offence to what he was doing because there was no need to smash a local company shop window. So they followed him. This guy was trying to disappear, start a riot, start smashing, start being destructive. Yet he wants to suddenly disappear and not be known. He just wants, that's what you call an instigator. They start the screaming and shouting, they start the damage, and then they back off slowly once they've aerated someone enough to take over that position and continue the shouting or the demolition or what violence, even whatever's happening at that moment, and they quietly step back into the background then and let that next person take over. I met my friend Michelle at a fracking site in Blackpool, Preston New Road. We were both there, anti-fracking, protesting against the fracking. Michelle, a larger-than-life character, not only in physique, but in her whole personality. Her sense of humour was electric. As soon as we met, we got on like a house on fire. I've only actually known Michelle 3 years. But the memories and phoning and texting and meeting up at events and actually being there at the fracking site, I've got enough memories as if it was 10 years.
Confusion is the word, you know, and I don't know. I'm trying to absorb and take in as much information as I can that's out there. When I'm consciously thinking about what is happening, I don't know if you guys are familiar with QAnon and things like this going on in the media world. So I've been listening to some of that for a few months now. And it's supposed to be linked up with Trump and the way he's running America. Quite a few years ago, I heard about a reset situation where the finances from London would actually move to America, the military from America would move to Iran, the religion from the Vatican would move to another country. I can't think which one it is right now. And there's loads of different stuff on the Truth of Circuit thing going on about different inputs, and Gasara, if you're familiar with that, about the financial money of the world, and anything you owe to a bank is supposed to come to an end, and then we're supposed to be living in lowercase initials for who we are as human beings rather than capital case for our name structure. It's a bit complicated, but it's all down to the financial implications of either being on the land or being on the sea, and all this is meant to be coming to a head with this political reset, and it's all tied in with Trump, whether this king is going to be our new king, John III. There's so much going on, and at the same time, that input that's coming seems to be ushering in the new world order at the same time, and it seems to be everything's coming to a pinnacle from both sides, as you probably aware with the marches and everything. How Antifa is being highlighted as working for the political agenda and things like that, and there's so much confusion going on in the world. And to say that you have a belief and you're strongly connected to that belief, we're in those times where you doubt and question absolutely everything: yourself, your religion, you know, your purpose in life, and what the world is coming to. And as I say, although I'm absorbing all these different points and I'm trying to have my balanced view on each and everything and keeping it real, as we say, it's still a ball of confusion. So I don't know what the outcome's going to be, you know. I just know we're still here so far.
As I say, I'm trying to put that happy slant on, and I'm trying to only think of the positives, and I'm enjoying time at home with my family. I'm enjoying less intrusion on my family. I'm suffering financially, so my husband's not getting anywhere near the pay he should be getting, although he's working full time, and I'm losing friends. And I don't know how to balance it. I don't know how to deal with it. And I don't know if I'm going to cause myself problems for the future, because I'm not putting it on the back burner. I am acknowledging what is happening, but I can't use any real rationale. I can't say that is 100% true. I can only do what I feel is right for me. I think I'm getting confused now. But I just want to say, it is trying times. We are losing people. But we always have, and I'm not taking away that we've lost Michelle, because we've always lost people, but we always have lost people. But is it due to COVID? I'm not sure.
But the bonus has been the I Love You Skem project, because it's just lifted our spirits tremendously. It's given us something to concentrate on, you know. We're laughing amongst ourselves, calling ourselves the new Kardashians because we want to film everywhere we are. I said, so long as my husband doesn't have a sex change, we'll be okay.